Because I talk about Austin as a reputation, not as a reputation, but a place where if what you cared about was social status and social hierarchy, and you were rich and famous, you wouldn't stay in Austin. And we have many examples of some of those people who moved here, and they weren't celebrated like they thought they should be. So they moved to New York or L.A. or Dallas, where that's a lot more interesting.
Sure.
And here, isn't it interesting that the commonality that we have is wanting a good place to raise our families, a place where we have more work-life balance than any of our peer cities, and where you tend to connect with your neighbors. The city council may not always think neighborhood activism is, but it is more. It's for people that value community more. So doesn't surprise me that we are gaining a reputation for kindness, because I think it's self-selection, and I guess I have data points for that too, because people that come to Austin from other places always mention, "Oh my gosh, people here are so nice to me."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And other people say that it was not until they got to Austin that they realized that people here were really listening to what they were saying.
As opposed to people don't listen to them elsewhere.
Yeah, well, that's what their experience. That's what they report to us.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I can. You see people looking over your shoulders. So in DC, where I spend a lot of time, you're never the most, unless you're the president, you're never the most important person who might walk into the room. And everyone's kind of looking to see, did a more important person than I need to get over there. Not that doesn't happen here, because you've got a bunch of entrepreneurs who have to raise capital and have to, secure certain customers. But that's not the modus operandi. And the modus operandi is connect.
Yeah. And you connect best with kindness.
Yeah. Even the people at our airport are nicer here.
Yeah.
I noticed I spend a lot of time in airports, and don't we all? And gosh, in Houston, oh my gosh, people are so frazzled.
Yeah.
And you go up to someone and they're just having a bad day, and they're wicked mean to you when you're about to pay your money. $20 for a $5 item. But if you remember what they must be dealing with, sometimes I was like, I'm so sorry people have been so mean today. So, I wish you would have a better day.
Yeah.
They change. All of a sudden, you get a smile.
Because you extended that kindness of understanding them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a value here.
Yeah. At Capital Factory, we have a rule: no assholes allowed. Do we have that rule in Austin? And we can all be bad on certain days, but for the most part, we don't. I can think of a couple of people that qualify, and they're just kind of the town assholes. And because they're ours, we allow them, but we don't really welcome any new ones to stay. They don't get a lot of love in town.
Yeah.
No matter how rich they are. This is not a town that prioritizes people being economically rich. And in fact, a story I'll share is, I have some friends that moved to town a few years ago, and after they're very wealthy, and after they'd been here for a while, they pulled me to the side and said, I'm afraid that people don't like us very much. I said, why? I said, that's not true. They said, well, we only get invited to things that cost. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, we only get invited to people's house for charity events. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, I don't think we just throw parties anymore. I mean, everything that we do, we think, well, why the hell don't we go ahead and raise money for a good cause? And I mean, this was 10 years ago probably. And in fact, I remember back in the 80s when there weren't enough companies here and there weren't even enough rich people here. And we started doing, every time we got together, let's go ahead and raise some money for a good cause, because there wasn't enough philanthropy.
Mm-hmm.
And we got stuck in that till probably the last 10 years, where people have started just doing parties for the sake of doing parties again. but for outsiders moving in, they found that disconcerting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you say kindness, I say generosity,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and concern for others.
Mm-hmm. Works for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
This has really been very helpful.